Since you haven't looked at it, I'll move on. I think what's needed is a little more investigation in my mind by the ethics commissioner into this whole scenario. Every time we do an investigation, there is more uncovered. So I'm going to move the following motion, which has been given to the chair for the clerk, if the clerk can circulate it. Given the Auditor General's audit of Sustainable Development and Technology Canada, and given that the government appointed board members approved $330 million towards 186 projects, that's 44%, in which 9 Order and Council board members had conflicts of interest in violation of the Canada Foundation for Sustainable Development Technology Act, and B, $58 million towards projects that were outside of SDTC's spending restrictions outlined in its contribution agreements with ISED. That the committee therefore expresses extreme concern with the blatant disregard of taxpayer funds, calls on the Minister of Innovation, Science and Industry to recoup these funds for Canadian taxpayers within 60 days following the adoption of this motion, and request that the Ethics Commissioner investigate all 186 conflict of interest votes and the culture of conflict of interest at the SDTC board. So I put that forward, Mr. Chair. I believe you have.
Thank you, Mr. Perkins. Yeah, we're just going to make sure what you read is similar, and it has been sent. I'll turn the floor back to you in a moment, Mr. Perkins, and then I'll look for other speakers. I am going to excuse our witnesses because I believe this is not going to be a quick discussion. So, Commissioner, thank you very much for appearing today. Of course, you are welcome to sit and watch the debate unfold since it does touch on your office, but you can also check the notes
point of
afterwards.
Order, Mr. Chair.
And Mr. Aquilino, thank you as well. So you are excused. And yes, Ms. Khalid, you have the floor for a point of order.
Thanks, Chair. I was just wondering, I mean, I don't think that we need to excuse the witnesses until at least you've ruled that the motion is in order. I know that we have one more round for the Liberals, at least, to be able to ask further questions of our witnesses.
I view the motion as in order, a matter of hand motion, and I'm going to turn the floor, pardon me. I will retain the chair. Back to Mr. Perkins.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As members know, this came to light a little over a year ago as a result of whistleblowers providing hundreds and hundreds of pages of documentation to the Department of Industry. They then had a couple of months of private discussions with the CFO of the Department of Industry, who called the
Chair, point of order.
Allegations.
Just 1 second, Mr. Perkins. I have a point of order from Ms.
Before
Shanahan.
the witness leaves, I'd like to challenge that. I do challenge your decision.
So you're challenging the
decision
that this is in order.
Challenging the decision that that the motion's in order and that the witness be allowed to leave because we still have one more Liberal speaking spot.
All right.
Chair, point of order. You cannot retrospectively challenge a decision that has already been implemented. If the chair makes a decision, you can challenge the chair in the moment where the decision is being made. I can't decide I don't like a decision you made an hour ago in this meeting and try to undo the proceedings that have happened since. It was ruled in order. There was no challenge. Mr. Perkins began his comments. And then Ms. Shanahan, maybe she got a note from a staffer, or maybe she...
Point of order on that same point.
Hold on. I'm hearing Mr. Genesis. I'll hear your point of order after.
I have a point on that same point.
Okay.
Chair,
I'm taking a list of points of
raised.
order, just one at a time. Mr. Genuis, you can wrap up, and then I will hear other points of order.
I'm done, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Khalid, you have the floor, and then I will hear Mr. Desjardins on a point of order. And I see, Mr. Desjardins, your hand is up to speak to the motion as well. I will, but Ms. Khalid, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chair. And to counter what Mr. Genuis has said, this decision was made, the ruling was made, and within like a couple of seconds, you dismissed the witnesses and you gave the floor back to Mr. Perkins. This was not an hour beyond what the ruling was. This is right there instantaneously, and I agree with Ms. Shanahan on challenging your ruling.
Thank you. Mr. Desjardins, you had a point of order. Just 1 second, Mr. Brock. Mr. Desjardins is next.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I do believe this is something we can overcome together as a committee. It's a very easy procedural issue that's obviously taken place here, Chair, and I respectfully ask that we get unanimous consent from everyone here just to allow the 5 minutes of questioning that the members are entitled to, just a matter of equivalency. I know if I was the member who was cut off from my questioning of a witness, just like if I was a Conservative member or a Bloc member or a Liberal member, that wouldn't be procedurally fair to disallow time for questions. And so I think it's very reasonable to suggest if we can just allow the 5 minutes with the Ethics Commissioner, they can ask their questions, and then we can return to the debate on this motion. I don't perceive that. I hope that's fair, and members can understand that this isn't, it's not my attempt to try to delay this any longer, but just if we can get unanimous consent to just do that. And Chair, maybe you can seek unanimous consent, and maybe members could just, we can calm down a little bit, allow the 5 minutes, and just continue our meeting and get to the debate of the motion. I think that's the most reasonable, most fair thing to do without descending into chaos.
Thank you, Mr. Desjardins. I have one more point of order from Mr. Brock. I see hands going up. If those are points of order, just say so, because I'm differentiating between a speaking list. But just hold on. So, all right, Mr. Brock, you had a point of order?
I'm withdrawing, Chair. Thank you.
Ms. Shanahan, you had a point of order.
So I appreciate Mr. Desjardins' comments. I believe the Commissioner has gone, but I want to point out that I was also challenging the decision that the motion was in order, because indeed it's not the topic of the meeting. Yeah. It's not on notice, and it's been, yeah.
Okay, so first of all, I'm just going to address Mr. Desjardins' point, because I think it's the most relevant and speaks to the good work of this committee. Unfortunately, it's very difficult for me to do that because as motions come up, they have to be dealt with. Technically, you're right. I could seek a UC on that, but that also opens up the possibility of other maneuvers coming up as well. So that is not how we've operated in the past. We deal with motions as they come up. Now, Ms. Shanahan is challenging the chair. That is non-debatable. I'm going to ask the clerk for a roll call on that to either sustain my ruling, which is a vote in the yes, or to deny it, which is a no vote. So, clerk, you, and if you sustain it, we then continue to we return the floor back over to Mr. Perkins to continue the debate on the motion he has put forward. Clerk, over to you, please.
The question is, shall the ruling of the chair be sustained? Ms. Bradford?
No.
Ms. Khalid?
No.
Ms. Shanahan?
No.
Mr. Ali?
No.
Ms. Yip?
No.
Mr. Brock?
Yes.
Mr. Perkins?
Yes.
That was a faint yes, but can you repeat that, Mr. Perkins, please? Oh, there it is.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mr. Genuis?
Yes.
Madame Sinclair-Desgagnés?
No.
Mr. Desjardins?
Mr. Chair, I actually have or Clerk, I have a point of clarification. Is the challenge to the motion, whether the motion is in order?
Yes.
Or whether or not, it's whether the motion is
Correct.
ordered? Not whether or not we're agreeing to the motion.
Correct. It's just whether the motion is in order to debate it now.
I see. Well, yes, I think it's in order.
Yeas 4, nays 6.
It is defeated, and I have excused the witness. This meeting is adjourned.